Hi guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased you've done so, and I'm really pleased about to bring you my first ever Nodus. Nodus is a watch brand I've been aware of for a while. They're over in Los Angeles in America. I reached out to them recently, just really wanted to feature one of their pieces. They were good enough to borrow one in, so thank you, Jake. Thank you very much. This is the Nodus Unity. They sent me over the blue model, very vibrant. They've got a few other color variations to choose from, yellow, black, and stuff. But I'm really pleased they sent me the blue one. I've got a thing for blue watches, really. I just like the color blue. But yeah, very vibrant. It's a sporty piece. And what's really cool is they got their own Nodex on the fly adjust class system that they've patented. I think they've started using it recently on Veya. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Another American brand. But yeah, really cool. Different in the sense that how you press the button. You got to press it to go in and out. But yeah, it looks really cool. Is the rest of the watch as good as that? Because I think it quite possibly would be. It's a brand, like I said, I wanted to feature for a while. Really good specs. They do lots of different sort of types of watches, dive watches and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to stop going on because you want to have a look at the watch. Sit back, relax, get yourself a nice cold, hot beverage, chill out. And hopefully by the time we get to the end of the video, you know if it's for you. If it is, please use the affiliate link in the description. Doesn't cost you any more. Just make sure life that bit easier. But yeah, it's about that time to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys, so this is the watch. As you'll see, Nodus, quite like that logo to be honest. Designed and assembled in Los Angeles. Got some information there about the model number. This is a prototype. So yeah, there's going to be scratches on it. This has done many reviews at this point. So do ignore the scratches. I can assure you yours won't come like that. Inside, normally you'd have the warranty card and stuff. There, obviously, I don't need that. And the top bit has got the watch. So you've got a bit of foam just covering it. So you see, I've taken 6 links out for it to fit my wrist. And one thing I will say about this, look at the links, how they just can sort of fold over and conform. Very cool, comfortable. Like I said, it's going to have scratches on it, guys. Do ignore that. That's not really important in relation to what we're doing. And there's the watch. I think you'll see right off the bat why I quite liked this. Very striking, very colourful watch. And in time for summer. So there we are. So put all that to the side and we can have a look at this bad boy. So let me just take the crown out, put it around here. And that's it. So this is the Nodus Unity. I've got the blue, a few other colours to choose from. I'll bring them up next to me now so you can have a look and see if there's anything more in keeping with your taste. Black, yellow, pink. I think there's going to be something in there you're going to like. And like I said, really colourful and vibrant for the summer. So yeah, really cool summer watch, in my opinion. Inside this watch, it's running an automatic Miyota 9015 movement. I'll bring some information up about that movement now. What can I say about the Miyota 4K series of movements that I've not said already before? Any of you that are regular viewers of the channel will know it's one of my favourite movements. Obviously, I do like the Sellita SW200s of the world and Etas, but in terms of the Japanese movements, they don't come very much better than the 9000 series of Miyotas. So, yeah, really happy to see this in there. Reliable movement for 4 hertz, 28,800 beats per hour. Yeah, really cool movement. Nice to see it in this watch. The construction of the watch, aside from the crystal, is all 316L stainless steel and the bezel, excuse me. So it's brushed with a few polished elements. You'll see it's got a polished faceted edge going through. You got the bracelet, which is brushed with polishing at the sides. Yeah, I prefer it to have brushing at the sides, but there is what it is. The clasp, like I said, has been definitely seen better days, but yeah, brushed in the middle, polished at the sides, signed with Nodus, screw pins. You got a solid case back with the logo on there with some other bits and pieces. You've got the crown, fully milled clasp, and you got their proprietary on-the-fly adjust system, which is the Nodex. So you push it in, you pull it out, and you push it in. You got to hold the button down as you're doing it. Not mad about that if you have to use it on the longest one, having that gap there, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a few moments. Yeah, 316L stainless steel throughout the watch. The case thickness of the watch is 11.2 millimeters. So yeah, nice and thin, hardly surprising given the movement they're using. The case diameter, I normally measure from the 8 to the 2. It comes in at 36.5 millimeters. And when you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it's coming at 40.1 millimeters. The lug width on this is 20. That day's tapered down to 16 and back up to 18.5 millimeters at the clasp. And the lug to lug, tip to tip of the watch is only 43.5. It's a nice and compact, but given it's got male end links to the center link, it is coming at 50.3, so it adds almost 7 mil. Bit unfortunate. It does have a bit of downturn, but yeah, could have done without that, to be perfectly honest. The bezel is a fixed ceramic bezel, and I do like the way they've matched it to the dial. Crown is situated at 3 o'clock signed, screw down, nice bit of pop there. No issues at all. And like I said a moment ago, the case back is screwed down with the information on there. Designed and assembled in Los Angeles. 150 meters of water resistance, but we'll talk about that in just a second. The bracelet has a nice bit of taper on it. Like I said before, it goes from 20 down to 16, back up to 18.5 at the class. Fully milled. There's no micro adjust holes because it has got the on-fly adjust system, which I did speak about just a moment ago, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. Fully milled, as I've already mentioned. The crystal covering the dial, and it is a beautiful dial, isn't it? Look at that dial, guys. I do like that. I love me a nice dial, and this is definitely a nice dial. It's sapphire crystal, so we do like a bit of sapphire. The water resistance, as I mentioned a moment ago, is 150 meters. I'd give you 15 atmospheres of water resistance, and the weight will appear in the top right. So with 6 links out of it, it's coming at 121.2. With those 6 links back in, you're looking at well into the 140s, I would say, maybe even touching 150. So yeah, good bit of heft really, given the sort of sizing of the watch. It's not particularly big. So there we are. But let's have a look at the dial now, guys, in a bit more detail. So the dial has nothing applied to it in the sense that you have got an outer ring at the indices that looks like it's been sort of submerged because it is a sandwich dial. So what you have of a sandwich dial, you've got the outer dial, you've got one underneath, and they just cut out, which should, in theory, allow them to have decent lume, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. You've got polishing on the indices that are sort of inside the dial. You've got hands, which are brushed at the center and polished on the outer. So you've got chamfered edges on the side, which I do like. The second hand is brushed. It's a nice bit of contrast in terms of the polish and the brushing, and done really, really well, the hands. I will say that. The dial is a stunner, as I mentioned just a moment ago. I don't know exactly what I would call it, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I do like the different shades of blue you get from the sunburst. You've got Nodus automatic printed onto the dial just below the 6 o'clock, and down at the 12, down at the 6, you have the date. You can see they've color matched the date, which is lovely to see. I do love it when they do that. So you've got a sort of, it's flawless then, isn't it? It's seamless in terms of how it looks against the backdrop of the dial. Not an eyesore. In the 6 o'clock position, probably my favorite position because it doesn't mess up the symmetry of the watch. I'll bring up the lume now, guys. So this is a sports watch, yeah, and they've got you covered. The lume on this is really, really good. Lasts a long, long time. Doesn't need very long to charge, and just goes and goes and goes, which was great to see. I didn't doubt it would. Nodus have built a very good reputation in the watch community, so I didn't think the lume would be bad, and it definitely isn't. So there we go. The movement inside, like I said, is a Miyota 9015 movement. The crown's already out, so it's at the position that it's going to be when you unscrew it from the case. Turn it away from you. You can charge it up. You pull it all the way out. You can turn the crown. So I'll leave it there for now. Put it back in. Put it to the first position. You'll see. Turn it away from you. You can change the date. The date is kind of central in there. Could be doing with coming over to the right a little bit. It does become a little bit more tricky when you are doing double dates, but you can see it probably could have done with coming over to the right slightly. So yeah, that's something to just maybe thinking of. But that's the dial, guys. That's the movement. That's the hands, the lume, all that good stuff. Let me just pop it on the wrist quickly, give you an idea what it's like on my wrist. Okay, so guys and girls, this is what it looks like on me. Very, very striking piece. I'm currently wearing it with another sort of level of micro just to go. You'll see the gap that I'm talking about, which is a bit not ideal really. But yeah, really, really striking piece. Yeah, very, very nice. Okay, so guys and girls, that will now take me swiftly on to what I think is pants and Pukka about the watch. If you've ever watched before, you will know I always start with pants. I like to kind of high with Pukka. So what I think is pants is there's not a huge amount of stuff that I want to mention, but there are three things that I do feel I need to mention. First, I'm going to go with the date. I don't know if you, or the way it's centered in the dial. You can see it's clearly quite a bit off center. Could be sort of a mil over to the right, which would help it going through. You'll see the amount of time, sort of dates I went through, and it's sort of off to the left, so that could do being changed. The center links, I think it's quite a female and links to that center link, doesn't it? It goes up to 50 mil because of how much sort of length that adds to the watch. And finally, the clasp. So I'm wearing it here at the moment, and that is a bit of an eyesore, isn't it? I do prefer the clasps, or the Nodex system is very, very good. But lots of clasps where it's hidden underneath, you don't see that gap. So I'm not a big fan of having that gap. It just doesn't look very nice, does it? I know lots of people won't see it. It's under, at the bottom. It's under, obviously on your wrist at the bottom. But yeah, they're the things I mentioned. I'll go with the date. I'd go with the center links and the clasp for what I think is pants. What I think is Pukka, considerably more still, is I'll go with the dial. I think the dial is done really, really well. Very, very striking. Yeah, I like the hands as well. The hands, the way they're finished. The brushed, the polished, faceted edge on the hands is fantastic. The date color, the fact they've color matched it. I know it's not centered, but the color match is good. Date location, bang on, nailed it. Maybe they could have made it look a little bit more like the rest of the indices, sort of like a triangle, but I see how that might be a little bit tricky. But maybe they could have tried a bit more. The movement, yeah, the 4K series of movements and 9000 series, never going to complain about them. The colors, you'd have seen the colors earlier. I think they got some really vibrant pieces. The black one, not so much. But yeah, otherwise, very, very colorful watches. And the size, I do like the way this is sized. I do like watches sort of 36 mil. Between 36 and 38, I think is a real sweet spot. Very unisex in nature because of it. So the things I'm going to mention. I'm going to go with the dial. I'm going to go with the hands. I'm going to go with the date color, date location, movement, colors, and the size of the watch. And that'll take me on to, would I recommend this watch? So I suppose, yeah, it's not as obvious this time, given there are a few things I've had to mention for pants. Just because they're there, I'm not going to not mention it. But I still would recommend this watch. I don't know if what I've mentioned with the date is an isolated thing, so hopefully it is. The center links, that's something that's easily remedied, or if you don't mind, because it's got a little bit of downturn, hopefully it doesn't bother you. But yeah, I would say that I definitely would recommend this watch. I think there's enough about it. It's colorful enough, different enough, but I would recommend it. But guys and girls, as I always say, please let me know what you think about this watch. More importantly, maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as I always say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and always watch the time. Take care, guys. All the very best.